Yeah, we're recording. Chris ain't even got his headphones on yet.
Woo-wee. All right. Zudes with reviews. Yeah, Zudes with reviews. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam.
Trying funny things and recording funny things.
You know, it's going to have all the different sections have theme songs. It'll be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Roundabout.
Eventually, we've been saying that for like 20 episodes now.
No,
this
we-
part is gonna have such a sick bumper,
We're
dude.
sta-
It's gonna be the bumper of all time.
All right.
It's the boat.
Just roundabout real quick, right before we review Matrix Resurrections. Do a real quick, starting from the left there, the tech wizard himself.
Yo, it's Robert, a.k.a. Bobby, a.k.a. Bobsley, I guess.
Bobby Bobingus.
We're here to talk about The Matrix, which
Yeah.
I'm a particular fan of. To my
Hell
right,
yeah.
we got...
It's your boy, Crispy Grooves, Chris Paisley in the building. We're talking about some really woke shit, dude. Like, but the original, like before all this internet shit. We're talking about getting your first DVD type of woke. We're throwing it back
Yeah.
to 2000. Was it 2000 that was the first one?
99.
99.
Definitely
99. Gonna
Yeah.
party like it's 99, dude.
Yeah. And
yeah. And of course we got
it's
boy.
me. It's my boy Adrian Grody, comic book creator and local nerd, and Yee. And we got
Yo,
Either
yo,
way.
yo, it's herb's the word, you know?
Herb. Herb's the word.
Yeah.
Herb.
Herb's the word.
Yep.
This is
What's
weird.
up?
We're trying like some different format shit right now.
Yeah, it is kind of strange, like kind of being turned around. There's like not even a TV on.
Yeah, maybe. I know.
Cameras are everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
It's very interesting for sure.
Yeah. All right. So we are here reviewing Matrix Resurrections. This is, of course, the long-anticipated fourth entry into the Matrix series.
Eli, your mic is completely blocked by or your face is completely blocked by your mic. That's great. We were trying funny things.
We were smoking funny things. But no, so it's the fourth entry to the series. Are we good? I don't care. I don't need FaceTime.
yeah.
It's about voice time, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Man,
All right,
so
there we
now
go,
I-
there we
all
go.
right, sick. Cool.
All right.
So Matrix Resurrections, man. Keanu's back. Came out this Christmas. We watched it at the comfort of the Zudes studio. The Zudio studio. It was
that's
on
right.
HBO Max.
Thank God for
it's-
HBO Max.
Yeah, it's kind of the new straight to DVD TBH, but you know, it's all good. It's all good.
Man, all right. Who wants to give their first impressions of or first comments here?
Oh my God, was it a divisive movie?
Yeah.
Yep. I'd say
IGN gave it not a 7, which is in rare form for them.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like it was kind of bullshit though. Kind of feel like it was just aimed at the whole, like it just talked about a lot of things that kind of just controversial and stuff. You know, it's just
Was it even controversial though?
It
My problem is that it
underlying,
wasn't
like-
even controversial,
I feel
I
like
think
you
and
there
it was
was-
just kind of
interpret it in
bad.
that
I need
way.
to watch it. I need to watch it again. I do feel like there was some sort of subtext that I definitely need to
sure.
rewatch to pick up on again. All of them, like I was feeling like is it does at least have the voice of the original creator, even though that person's totally different now, and it's like different. Like you know,
What do
it's
you
obviously
mean,
a different area.
they're
You-
always the same.
okay. All right. But yeah, let's talk about the movie.
IGN dissed it because they dissed the video game industry in that movie.
Yeah, I think it was like
Just threw all the smoke.
yeah.
Maybe
no.
that's part of it. Or maybe they just didn't pay him enough for the review, and that's just what it is.
I think they drew somewhat of an accurate representation of how fucked it is in the video game industry right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they kind of actually. That's the thing. Like, I think a lot of the messaging of the movie, and I think we're gonna get kind of spoilerific here. Like,
Yes,
not like
I think
like,
I'd
you know.
say just full spoilers. Might as
yeah,
well.
might as well.
Might as
Go
well.
watch.
Well-
Yeah, it's on HBO right now. Go watch it. You know.
Yeah, you gotta leave your
Um,
house.
Yeah, easy peasy.
It's kind of one that people are skipping, so I think it's fine to.
I
talk
think it
about.
was
Yeah.
worth the watch still.
I think I didn't
just
hate
knowing,
it.
you know what I mean? I don't hate it.
I really don't hate it. Like I wasn't like I was like at the end I was like okay, there was something there, you know? Like it's just
Yeah.
like it just was like kind of like just really just like badly executed,
yeah.
and
I feel like it was taken liked a lot though, just because like even I went to work and I had like multiple coworkers screaming at each other over the movie, like
Yeah.
like getting into an intense conversation, half good, like half kind of bad, but
like I think if you're a casual Matrix fan, which I would, even though I love those movies, I would still consider myself pretty casual with the series. Like I went in, I was like, this is probably not going to be anywhere near as good or mind blowing or original as the OGs. And they're probably gonna do some really stupid shit here, you know. But it wasn't as bad, like, especially after going through Star Wars and stuff. It wasn't as bad as like the Star Wars reboots or nothing to me. Like there wasn't
give
like
you that.
terrible.
I'll give you that.
Like
I think they did the best that they really could with the circumstances. Obviously,
Yeah.
like it seems like one of those things that where the like script was retconned at the last minute because they
Yeah.
couldn't get like certain people to show up,
Mhm.
and you know they had certain like contractual obligations to fulfill, like
Yeah.
the little Warner Brothers like name drop in there and shit like that.
See, because everybody was mad that Lawrence Fishburne wasn't there, and they're trying to be like, oh well, that's because, or what was it, or who was saying about that? How it's like, oh well, there's the Matrix video game, and canonically
Yeah.
Morpheus dies in that, so it's like a different
Mhm.
Matrix. But I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but if they could have pulled off getting him back
I know
for the movie, they
neat-
absolutely would have.
They literally could have done the same
yeah.
thing where it was like
They
a
could've,
modal
right.
construct, just a different actor.
They're
They
like,
didn't have
dude,
to
yeah,
pick a new
right,
actor. They could have done
exactly.
the same exact plot.
Exactly.
So.
No, it's literally, it's like, oh, bro, it's like we'll we'll retcon our own movies. Of course, we'll retcon the video game. No one cares about that. Like, no one even remembers that.
I actually
shit.
did play some of the Matrix video games.
Which
as
one?
a kid.
Because there's a few of them, right?
Path of
There's
Neo
Path
is
of
fire.
Neo.
Well,
Yeah.
And then there was
yeah,
the MMO. The MMO is the one where
That-
Morpheus is like dead. Yeah.
and it's completely canon, supposedly. Well, not
It's also
anymore.
completely should be in the can.
Yeah, no,
It's
was
canon.
It was definitely garbage, like
Uh,
from the videos that I've seen from it.
I will say something that I gotta give this movie props for is that as much as like I was saying that I was like it's a lot of member berries for the first movie,
Yes,
especially like the
yeah.
first. I almost
especially in the first
I
like
don't-
half hour.
yeah, the first like half hour was so meta and a lot of member berry soup, but I also almost like what they were doing in that first act
Yeah.
where it was like he was like kind of like him like stuck and he's like, you know, someone just having like a mental breakdown and
Mhm.
like, you know, you like we the audience know what's gonna happen too, but I'm also was like, are they gonna do something like really weird right now? Like they really could have kind of done something mindfucky there.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say though is that like, yeah, as much as those like member berries for the first Matrix movie though, they did use some references like that were in other stuff, like the idea that like robots can be transferred over and they can like be like taught to be like peaceful and shit, and like you can teach them like how to like learn and like they can peacefully interact with people. It's not inherently
Right.
like
There are species
conflicting.
in
The robots-
themselves.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
you can,
that's from the Animatrix,
You
and
can
they
convince
first
the robots to do a lot of things.
oh
for
my
you.
god.
As we have documented in our Matrix short, go watch that on the Zudecast Instagram,
yeah.
of course.
Yes, indeed.
Uh,
But I like that they actually included something from like a non-essential piece of media like back into like the main like storyline.
Yeah.
And like they carried that kind of plot point forward from the Animatrix, and I thought that was cool because I
Keep it
love the
full
Animatrix.
circle.
true.
Yeah, that one's cool. Also, Morpheus as a ball man, as a jiggly fucking metal man
I
was
like
pretty
the
tight.
premise of
Oh,
his
yeah,
character. I mean, you know, the actor was
It's
whatever.
cool.
He's
Yeah,
alright.
they did all right. I think the guy that was
Wasn't
yeah,
terrible.
the new Morpheus was okay. My problem with the movie is like it almost felt like they were ashamed of making the movie, but they're like, we got to make it anyways. It's like sorry, we got you know bills to pay and shit, so we got to make another Matrix 4, and so like they have to take the first half of the movie and be like, huh, so Warner Brothers made us make it. Like they're really like trying to hammer that in. It's like
Yep.
sequels, they're so cliche, blah blah blah. But it's like, but you're doing it, but you're still doing it. So just like make the sequel, make it epic, or don't. I don't know. It was just it was a weird way to like try to explain. Like it's the movie had to explain its own existence.
A lot like Space Jam 2. It had like
Yeah.
the first fucking 30 minutes was just
Right.
like this weird exposition of how we're
Oh my
even
God,
getting
it is
into
kinda
the
like Space Jam
situation.
2.
Yeah, it was Warner Brothers. That's
way.
why. And it
Yeah.
was like they got the trying to go by a formula and
It
shit.
literally, yeah.
yeah,
like,
heck, actually,
it's
yeah.
because Warner Brothers, the company, exists within the Matrix.
Also, too,
The Matrix
also,
within the
too,
Matrix.
is just this is worth noting as well is that on It Part 2, they are on the Warner Brothers studio making a movie at one point. And one of the characters is making a horror movie for Warner Brothers, and
Oh, that's
in
weird.
It too. So like they're like kind of. I've said they
They're so
love
self-referential.
They
Love
do this all the
themselves so
time, bro.
much.
Because like Batman meets Scooby Doo. That's a fucking
Uh-huh.
you know like so they do this shit all the time. But I really do think that first act could have set up something really interesting, but they just kind of went like like I feel like they pussied out of it almost, just by having it be
Yeah.
like, hey, Morpheus breaks him out again, and it's like I feel like if they took it in some entirely different like weird direction.
I wish they would have played more on the more of Neo's insanity.
Yeah,
and,
like I wanted maybe if he had like a
Yeah.
further breakdown and it was like some kind of like maybe it was if it was convincing that it was real, like we know that he was in the Matrix. We know he's in the Matrix or whatever.
Yeah.
But like they could have taken a longer time to kind of introduce and maybe make the audience doubt. It's like, is he back in the Matrix or was he actually a person? Is this actually like? Because I don't hate the idea of it's like, oh, now we're following Thomas Anderson again. Like we're following that character because that's totally. I feel like he's different than Neo. I mean, he is Neo obviously, but like Neo is fucking Neo. Like he's badass and shit. He's the one and knows his powers. Like. So I don't know. To me, it's like if you followed, like if he never went into the Matrix or something, like, and this is him like kind of with his story in like a different way. I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's true
But
because like if he was in the Matrix and then like, well, it's supposedly like years and years pass. So is it just like the Matrix convinces everyone else that like, oh no, he was there the whole time, like making video games, and everybody's just like brainwashed to think that, or does like some other person like maintain like his body, or does he like did he just die in the Matrix for that whole time and then he came back, or like how long was he out?
He was out for 60 years.
Yeah,
in the pod,
right? In the
60
actual,
real life
60
years?
real life years. Yeah, was how long he was in the pod for.
Damn.
Since he sacrificed himself in the last.
So do you
one.
live longer in the pod?
Well, he was. They fucking they rebuilt him. They
Right.
resurrected
Yeah,
him.
yeah, that's
And I was
right.
gonna say
Right.
that was one of my favorite scenes, actually. Honestly, when they were rebuilding him, because that to
shit's
me,
gnarly,
that
dude.
shit was scary. And to me, when I first saw the Matrix when I was a kid and stuff, some of the scenes were scary, bro. Coming out of the pod and he's got the
Yeah.
fucking, it's just this hellscape. You're like, what the fuck, like,
Yeah.
as a kid, it's mind blowing, And that was one of the scenes that kind of had me like, it's like, oh my god, these fools are fucking insane, Like this is like a different, like an alien species at this point, These robots are fucking evil. And I mean, I know they're not evil, subjectively evil, whatever. But like, like that mind blowing scale, like science, like they can bring Neo back to life, like that's crazy, And that was a cool scene to me. Had some good like horror elements to it.
I really like how it kind of showed the side of the machines and how they are trying to build this relationship with the humans, saying, "Hey, we need to survive on our own. Also, this is why we are doing this, and we're not doing this at a malicious intent. It's just how we thrive in general as a species." And it just shows a really big side of just them, like
It's
being people themselves, almost in a way. Especially when you go into the Matrix and like there's Mr. Anderson, all the agent, which
Mr. Smith.
or Mr. Smith that breaks free or whatever, and it shows that he's just one of those robots out there that's fucking controlling, the Matrix.
Can even the robots themselves can like break out of their own matrix of their own coding. Like I don't know, because it's weird because I've seen the
They're
first
like
Matrix
ants.
and then I didn't see like the second and third one, and then I saw the new one, so I'm like a little bit like I don't know all the lore, but like
They leave it pretty ambiguous.
yeah, that's kind of what I
because,
figured.
There's like a grand AI that controls all of the Sentinels, essentially.
Right.
And Agent Smith is one of those programs that essentially broke free of the Matrix. Something about how Neo is like the equal and opposite of Agent Smith, just like the Architect and the Oracle are kind of like equal opposites. One's designed to create balance and one's designed to create unbalance. So I get it with Agent Smith being able to break out, but he's like extremely powerful. And, they leave it ambiguous as to what the rule set of the Matrix is afterwards.
Right.
But the way it transitions into the fourth movie is that all these like sentient programs, essentially, who did dwell in the Matrix and previous versions of the Matrix, exiles even, could like inhabit Sentinels, essentially.
See, like I really enjoyed the part where it kind of explains how when Neo dies in one of the movies, he like gets beaten to death and then goes to this fucking train station, right? And meets this little girl and the two parents, and the little girl ends up being the chick that the fucking robot bitch.
Yeah.
That fucking,
They're like, we
swapped
couldn't
him.
bring back Morpheus, but we got the random Indian girl from the train.
Yeah.
Remember
Oh my
her?
God.
It's like, wow. It's like no shade to
But
Yeah,
I thought
I'm
it
sure.
was
Cool character.
It was kind of a good play on their part of like kind of like explaining what the fuck was going on in that situation, because
Yeah.
no one fucking knew what was going on.
I do think what kind of like a good idea they had too is like I think that the idea of like multiple smaller matrices is kind of the logical progression of the series because okay, like they defeated
Matrix
like
within
the
the
Matrix. Now like they defeated like the Matrix, and it's like of course like for the robots to survive, they're gonna try to set up smaller like and I think the dynamic between the people and like there's like I like the idea that like there's robots on the people side, but there's also people that would be willing to plug back into a matrix to be power sources. And I think like the idea of like smaller different like matrices existing like is like like a cool next step for the series.
I don't think that's the direction they're going. Because
No.
at the end of the third movie, the Matrix technically isn't defeated. What Neo does is he goes to the Machine City and he makes a deal with the AI and says, Agent Smith is a problem that you can't control anymore.
Mhm.
So let me go in and let me reconnect to the Matrix and fight him. And they basically fight and they cancel each other out, being, equal and opposite.
Mhm.
So they just don't exist anymore. And the AI like goes off into the distance and sort of just proceeds as planned.
Damn.
Weird.
But the final scene in the Matrix 3 is the architect talking to the Oracle.
Mhm.
And they basically ask, all right, what's going to happen to everybody else? You're really just going to let them go. So essentially everybody who chose to just got unplugged and was free to like, rejoin humanity,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of weird. Like, I don't think the whole like the story itself needed to exist because the final justification, of the entire plot was to get Trinity out of the Matrix because love and because how like together they're like they produce more bioelectricity that like
Yeah.
maintains the entire Matrix.
Mhm.
And that's kind of referenced subtly in like the Matrix 3 where Neo essentially is out of the Matrix and he like puts his hand up and just fucking blows up a shit ton of Sentinels
Mhm.
and then he like faints and collapses. So he has like some sort of like Matrix-like abilities outside of the Matrix too, which is very strange altogether.
Right.
But I don't know. They didn't really justify all that well in like why they need them.
See,
to, like,
right,
for
but
the
they
Matrix to
kind of just
operate.
left it sort of ambiguous and mysterious, like
Yeah.
on purpose. But see, that's the thing. I'm like, I like all of the concepts of the Matrix and all of like the overarching themes of the Matrix, but man, I just felt like this one, just the execution of it was just kind of
It was kind of poor.
bad.
I
It
don't
was a little
like that
poor.
like the opening shot and the ending shot were exactly the same as the first
Yeah.
movie. That was so lame to me. Like
Yeah.
that's like cuz dude, and then it had you know what I did like was that it was a Sophia Urista's version of of Wake Up, bro. That was,
Yeah, at
that
the
was
end
the
credits.
song and that was the song she was playing when she pissed on the dude's face.
Yo, that is like a
Yes,
glitch in the
dude.
Matrix
That's
type of thing.
so
Yeah.
real. I was like, bro,
Wait,
it's
maybe that's why Sophia did this whole piss thing in the first
So
place.
she could be in a movie
Oh
or get on the
or
movie.
no, she probably was already on it and then
she was stoked.
generated the hype so that when people saw at the end of the Matrix, they're like, wait
Wait
I
a
know this
minute.
song. This is the pee-pee girl. Yeah,
Dude.
pee-pee.
Dude.
That's right. Pee-pee urethra.
bro.
Yeah, I know her.
All right.
Matrix is
Hey.
no longer about trans.
It's about
it's about
pee.
pee on
All right.
fans.
All right.
All right. So
Oh, yeah.
one more thing, just a couple more things I want to say real quick. I'm sorry. It would have been so much better if they got fucking Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne back, bro. If it was the same
Yeah.
story but with Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne, because a lot of people were saying it's like, bro, having Hugo Weaving and Neo just have an awkward, tense work relationship, that would have been fire, bro. That'd have been so
good.
entertaining to watch. Like those
Yeah.
two are
Mm.
great together.
I don't think
And-
it would have changed the movie that much, to be honest.
It wouldn't have,
Yeah.
but it would have been like just that much more like
Yeah.
of a at least palatable experience, and like more like of a and maybe not, I
Yeah,
mean, I
it
did
would-
like
it
the
would-
new Morpheus, but it doesn't have to,
I have
but
no idea what Hugo Weaving looks like these days too, so he might not have been good as a video game company boss,
No,
like,
I
'cause
feel
that-
it, yeah.
But I think that's kind of like part of the joke is that it's just like, oh, this is like the new generation of the Matrix. Like the Matrix has evolved to
Right.
become like more woke and more like annoying.
well,
like
that's
Neil
I was
Patrick
kind of
Harris.
thinking that beginning part was almost even like it was like self-aware, but it almost was
Yeah.
kind of self-critical. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it was like, but like I feel like all like the jokes they made, it's like, yeah, this is like the stupid shit everyone like kind of gives a shit about, at least,
Yeah.
it was kind of like able to kind of poke fun at itself in the
Right.
beginning. Like,
It still baffles me how Neil Patrick Harris can piss me off in every single.
Oh yeah, dude.
how'd you guys
film
feel
that
about
he's
him
in.
as a new as a villain?
It pisses
I-
me off.
Analyst.
I
The
liked
analyst.
him. I thought he did good in that role. I mean, clearly he's supposed to piss you off. Like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
whole point of his
yeah.
existence. But I'm like, what's the message of the Matrix? So it's like your mental illness is fake. Ignore your therapist. They're trying to keep you trapped in the machine. Like
I
that's
know,
kind of
like, damn,
it's
it's
like,
kinda
I
going-
mean, all right.
That's kind of base though.
That's what I'm saying.
Kind of sick though, right? I was
Some
like,
of the signs that they were sending out were just the messages were mixed. So it's
Yeah.
like,
well, that's the thing. You got to keep it. Well, but one thing I did like that they talked about, I forget if it was not Neil Patrick Harris, but the other guy, the new like
yeah, the-
Smith guy,
yeah. Oh yeah.
because he was talking about. Oh, wait, was it? Patrick
Or was
Harris?
it Bugs? She was talking about how like they hide like.
Oh
like-
yeah. It was
Yeah.
Bugs. That's right. They were talking about right, how they'll hide like all of the true meaning of stuff, and they'll tell you the secrets about the Matrix, but they'll turn it into like a trivial movie kind of thing. But it's
Yeah.
like, damn, that's almost what the movie The Matrix is. Then it's like, so are we in the Matrix? And then like the Matrix is the simulation that we live in for real is making the movie The Matrix to fucking throw us off, you know?
Yeah,
Be like,
exactly.
we're like,
No, it's
I
just a movie.
understand, like, because everybody has like their own like version of being red pilled, you know? Like they're like, I understand what the Matrix is about. It's about like, you know, like
Yeah.
it's everybody has like their own like red pilled. It's like either about like whatever they're like red pilled Donald
Oh,
Trump,
let me
or they're
see.
like red pilled fucking. They're like, what about divorce courts? Like, you know, everybody has
What
like
the fuck?
everybody has like their own like version of like red pilled. You know, it's like the weird thing, but maybe that's the simulation is doing that on purpose to keep us fucking fighting with each other. They're like, no, it's a trans allegory. No, which because they kind of go through that in the Matrix itself, you know, where they're having like the board meeting and it's like,
Yeah.
it's about trans politics, it's about crypto fascism, it's about this or whatever. And
I
it's
still
like,
think
damn.
the funniest fucking thing is in those last 2-second ending after the credits of the fucking. I think we need cats or something like that. They're like,
Shit
we
was
need
stupid.
videos of kittens, you know, in the Matrix too, or the next Matrix.
Oh
Right,
yeah. They're doing like all the focus
So-
group meetings.
I
Yeah.
pulled up my notes, by the way. That I was taking
Okay.
during the movies.
What you
I
got?
like the redesign of the pills, the red pills and the blue pills.
That's
they
true.
look more
Yeah.
like metallic
Yeah.
and like fucking like
Shiny.
shiny and shit.
They don't
and-
look like a fucking NyQuil anymore.
Yeah, and then I also like that fucking his prescription from the therapist was all blue pills.
Yeah.
I like that.
But then he
That's
almost
like
ODs
they're trying to
on the
they're
red
trying
pill.
to sedate him, bro. They're like
Yeah.
trying to sedate him. I also like that Keanu was just like, fuck,
Oh,
right
yeah.
before taking the red pill.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's what I would say.
Oh, the red pill visual effects too, where it was just like hella shitty. Like,
Yeah.
oh
Dude,
god, like I'm too lit off the chill.
Yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? Robots are good. I already talked about that. Mm.
That's your note. Robots are good.
Robots are good. Bird droid. The bird droid was tight. The bird.
Oh
was-
yeah, that was pretty cool.
The birdcast. Oh, birdcast. We're gonna do birdcast episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay tuned for
Oh,
Birdcast episode
not
1.
Not enough powers. Neo didn't do that much cool shit, really, bro.
Yeah.
He just
He
did
was
like
a bitch in this.
he just
movie.
did a bunch of
Yeah.
like he did like a bunch of like Star Wars force powers, and it's like what the fuck, bro? Like do some
Motherfucker
martial-
could not fly.
They
Dude,
definitely girl
especially-
bossed it
well,
a
dude,
lot.
especially after he just did all this John Wick shit. Like, dude, he even if he's not like flying around like whoa, like have him be like regular person sick, you know, like fucking have it come
Yeah.
back a little bit, like
I mean,
yeah.
he got his ass kicked in just about every single fight that he got into.
Yeah.
like
No,
and
it
even
really
when he
is.
did do something, he was just like, bah, like big explosion, like you know, and it's like, bro, this fool's like. You know, one of the goats.
I don't know. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like they could have
did some
still
cool shit,
played into the fact that fool is still technically the one. You know,
but he's not.
Nah,
He's not the one now. Like that's the whole like.
now
thing.
he's the 0.5.
He's the
bro.
0.5 exactly.
Yeah.
And they need, if
It
they
takes
don't,
two to make a thing go
they need
right.
to just merge into one like being and have like 8 arms, bro, and be just like fucking
Wow.
disgusting, bro. And it's like, and then have like I'm gonna make my own fan film, bro. I kind of see where they're going here with some things. All right. Do you guys think it's getting a part 2 of this?
I think
final
they're setting it up for
thought
that.
Is
Oh, yeah,
if
that's-
it doesn't get a part 2, it's gonna make this movie a lot worse.
I think so
right.
too.
Yeah,
I think so,
yeah.
too.
If they do like good, they did a lot of setup in this one, so I'm thinking that that's almost why it kind of ended on a cliffhangery way. It was like very like a lot of build up for not that much reward. Or so if they keep it going and like do cool stuff with it in the future, I think that it could be cool. They have to kind of sell me on some of these new characters more. Like I didn't like, not that they were bad. I was like, they look cool. They're doing cool shit. But just like as characters, I'm like, you guys are just like generic. Like it was like video game characters.
There's that
like,
one dude
watch
that
the
was
whole
just
trilogy,
like
man.
super
Yeah.
fanboying over fucking Neo. That shit was, I don't know. That shit just
Yeah.
kind of annoys me. Even though it's like, yeah, I get it. He's probably like, he's like Abraham Lincoln in fucking their time. So it's,
Yeah.
That same characters in the second and third movies, and I think that you'll find in the second and third movies that the acting is not much more.
Not much.
deep.
Well, that's
Oh,
the thing.
no.
It's like you're right. The acting's like never been good, but except for honestly from Lawrence Fishburne.
Yep,
Like Lawrence Fishburne kind of steals the show in terms of actual like acting chops and just
Yeah.
like being dope.
Yeah.
Like he kills it.
I mean,
So
I feel
la-
like that's just Lawrence Fishburne though. That's
exactly.
him being
So,
himself.
like,
is just
His
badass.
his absence was like very
felt.
very felt.
Very felt.
All right. Last thoughts, boys. Ethan,
I'd give it a 7.
7.
Nah.
I feel it.
I don't know. I felt like it kind of just brought back the classic and was like, well, it's still a little weird. It still likes to test some boundaries, but yeah, I still feel like they could have done way better, explained things a lot more, or just not made the movie.
Yeah. It's mostly just bad pacing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Christian?
too drawn out.
I would say, yeah. I mean, like I'm excited to see where it can go. I think they're still hoping it, and like maybe we'll get like a good like Matrix video game or something about
Mhm.
something out of it.
Not in
But overall, just like the execution just kind of took a lot away from it. So I don't know. I would say like probably like a 5 or 6, honestly.
I feel it, man. I was gonna give it a 6. Like when I first watched it, I thought 6, and I think as a casual fan, I felt like 6 to me was like because I didn't give it a 4. I thought that was pretty cruel.
It was a little harsh.
It was a little
maybe.
harsh because I didn't like come out of this pissed. But you know what? Again, like I said, I'm a casual Matrix fan. If I was a hardcore Matrix fan, I'd be pretty fucking mad right now, honestly. And and it's like to me, like I remember that feeling like when Star Wars happened, bro. So I'm like,
Yeah.
a hardcore Matrix fan would probably be very upset
Well,
with this. So I
that's
gotta
the thing-
dock it down a point in my book too, because like you think you can just serve
Yeah.
people member berries instead of like
Right.
doing something totally new. And like I said, I'm a casual fan, so like some of the stuff I was like, hey, cool, but. Yeah,
It's
I
heavy on the
gotta give a
member
5.
berries.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah.
member berry soup.
But that's the thing. It's like the member berries has the effect on you. Like the first time you watch it, like right when you're done, you're like, wow, that was so good. And then like a week passes and you're kind of like, was it so good? Like, and then it's like you watch it again like a few months later. Or that's how I felt about Star Wars, honestly. Episode 8. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, that was sick. There was
That
a cool
shit was
lightsaber
cool.
fight at the end.
Well,
Like, because
that
but then you
well-
go back and you think about it more and you're like, wait, what?
We'll do that one day.
Yeah.
That's an entire other can of
Oh,
worms.
boy.
But all right, Matrix Revolutions.
Yeah.
Zudes with
Any
reviews.
final thoughts, Bobby? I feel like you're probably like the hardest core Matrix fan of all of us.
It was cool. I enjoyed it. I'm trying not to read into it too much.
Yeah.
It's
just the movie.
Yeah, I hope there's a second one and they do some more exciting things
Yeah.
with it. Because it was too long and too much filler content.
They could have made it like a TV series.
A lot of people are
That
saying that
would've
it
been
could have been a
so
TV
much better,
series. I
dude.
think it would have been better as a TV series.
I think it would have been worse, to be honest.
Maybe.
Could have been.
The Matrix.
Just the budget of it would have probably not been as high, but
The Matrix is one of those kind of experiences where it's really cool in a concentrated sort of form, and the more
Yeah.
you try to stretch it out, the
That's
more
true.
they have
True.
to dilute the content to like get the message across.
I feel it. It has
That's
to be
true.
like a one straight, like a roller coaster
Yeah.
almost. Because the first one
Yeah.
is like that. It's all like, what the
yeah,
fuck
but
are
it's
we-"
like right. If you really tried to dive into all the deep lore of it, you might just start to be like, man, there's a lot of holes here.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what's like. I don't know. That's why I feel like it's a movie that didn't need to exist, but I'm not mad that it exists because it doesn't really take away from
Yeah.
like the overall meaning of the original. You know.
yeah, it's a
That's how I feel about
reboot, and I think it'll be okay. You know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Thanks for
Thank you
tuning
very
in.
much, y'all.
Remember to like, comment,
Comment,
subscribe,
subscribe.
do all that stuff. Smash
Do
the
it.
like button.
Do it.
Hey, you know what? Ring that freaking notification bell too. We don't got
Yeah,
nobody
ring,
on there.
Follow us on
Ring, ring.
Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Odyssey. Follow
That's
us
right.
on Twitch. Follow us on anything else that might be linked in the description.
it goes
Zudes with
Pornhub.
We're on a lot of shit.
X videos.
Zudes with reviews.
Yeah.